friends, it is me, Elena, and today I'm bringing you a reading vlog, but we're gonna be rereading Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. The Dark Artifices is my favorite book series of all time, along with Shadow and Bone, and coincidentally, my favorite authors are Cassandra Clare and Leigh Bardugo. So I finished Shadow and Bone really recently, and there is now a hole in my heart that I cannot fill, even though I watched the TV show 3 times. So I decided I'm gonna reread Lady Midnight, because the first time I read them, I borrowed the books from my friend, which means that not only do I not have physical copies of the books, I don't have any annotations, and if I want to go back to certain scenes, I can't. So I've decided to purchase Lady Midnight, and I'm gonna read it, and you're gonna witness my mental breakdown. I'm starting this now, and we'll see how it goes. I got to page 13 where Kit is at the shadow market with his dad, and Emma's asking Johnny Rook, his dad, questions about the bodies that have been showing up in order to find some information related to her parents. And after she leaves, Kit turns to his father and goes, "For someone who sells secrets, you sure keep a lot of them." And then his father replies with, "My biggest secret is you." That line means something to me now because I know that Kit is a Herondale. So that is my first tab, y'all. If I look crusty, you don't get to comment on it because it's my birthday. That's all I'm gonna say. I turned 19 today. It's the August 5th. The August 5th. It is the August 5th. I really wanted to update you on what I read. So I said I'd get to chapter 3. I got to chapter 2. I just couldn't do it. So I read 34 pages, but I already have 5 tabs. So you best know that by the end of this book, it's just gonna be littered with tabs. Oh, I didn't show you my bookmark yesterday. Let me just substitute it for something else. Look. Has the Parabatai rune. And the other one, I think this is strength. I'm not sure. But yeah, I made it. It has this on it, and then it hangs out of the book. I love this. I made it when I was reading the Infernal Devices because Will and Gem are a Parabatai. So there we go. I think I already showed or read out what my first tab was. So the next one is when Nina and Christina are on the roof. And by the way, I forgot how much I love their friendship. That scene, that whole scene with on the roof, and then they're fighting with the Fae, and then they're running. So good. So good. I almost said Nina. Oh my god, Nina's at a brain rot. Oh my god, no. Christina says, "No one's perfect, Emma," talking about Cameron, because Emma just broke up with him. And Emma replies with, "But some people are perfect for each other. Don't you think that has to be true?" And I put a little pink tab, which means romance, because you best know that that's a call to what's gonna happen with Julian and Emma later on. As a whore for friends to lovers, I'm here for this. And on this page, which is page 23, I have 2 tabs. The funny one was when Christina was talking to Emma about how she shouldn't have gone to Johnny Rook because Diana told her, like, don't go. And Emma says, she may have called him a criminal who commits crime, which I have to say struck me as harsh, but she didn't say I couldn't go to the shadow market. And Christina replies with, because everyone already knows shadow hunters aren't meant to go to the shadow market. And this is where Emma says, and if I ran into Rook, say, at the market, and he dropped some information while we were chatting, and I accidentally let drop some money, who's to call that paying for information? Just two friends, one careless with his gossip, and the other one careless with her finances. That line reminded me of how much I love Emma's character. But yeah, I'm gonna continue reading, and then if there's something that piques my interest and I feel like I should share, that was a really big bug. Anyways, I'll come back to you. It hasn't even been a minute. I had to check in. I literally read like a paragraph of chapter 2 where like Emma's showing Christina her wall of crazy, as she calls it. It says, the inside walls of her closet in her blue painted room, the mural on the bedroom wall of swallows in flight over the towers of a castle had been done by Julian when she first moved in, a nod to the symbol of the Carsters family. It's just reminding me of Jem, and then Julian did it for Emma, and it's on her wall. Cut the cameras, that ass. Okay, I love Julian. I love him with all of my heart. I love how he takes care of his family. And we got to the part where Emma's showing Christina around everyone's rooms, and they go to Tavi's room, and she's showing her like the tent and the books and stuff, and she goes, Tavi has nightmares. Sometimes Julian comes and sleeps in the tent with him. My poor heart already can't handle this. It's page 40. I'm so emotional. For what? There's not even anything super emotional happening. I'm on page 43. Yes, 3 pages after I last updated you. And Emma is still showing around Christina the Blackthorns' rooms, and they're in Mark's room. And Christina goes, Mark Blackthorn was a part of the reason I came here. It has always been my hope that one day I might be a part of brokering a better treaty than the cold peace. Something far more fair to the downworlders and those shadow hunters who might love them. I fucking love Christina so much, and to think that she's gonna be in a relationship with him and Kieran. I think I'm gonna stop reading for a bit. I'm on page 58. I'm gonna shower, wash my hair, do my nails, and then I think I'm gonna film a different video because that needs to go up before this one. This one's probably gonna take a while. Yeah, I guess I'll see you the next time I decide to pick up the book. It's about to be revealed that Mark is one of the fairies that arrived in the Institute, so I'm turning my camera on because I absolutely love Mark. Yes! He's finally here! While they're like still sealing the deal and all that stuff, Emma says, so Mark is your bargaining chip. And then Kieran loses his shit and he's like, why must you state things that are obvious? Why must all humans do it? Foolish girl. And then Julian's expression like immediately changes and he says, Emma's my parabatai. If you ever speak to her like that again, there will be blood on the floor of this sanctuary and I do not care if they put me to death for it. I need to find someone who will love me the way Julian loves Emma. I'm on page 139 and there's a paragraph that's making me really emotional. I need to read it out. It's when Kieran and Gwen leave and it's just Kieran, Mark, Emma, and Diana. And it says, Mark, Julian breathed out, and Emma thought of the nightmares Jules had woken up from over the years, screaming for his brother's name, for Mark, and how hopeless he had sounded, and how lost. He was pale now, but his eyes were shining, as if he were looking at a miracle, and it sort of was a miracle, Emma thought. The fairies didn't give back what they had taken. Oh my god. So, I might have done an oopsie and forgotten to update you for like a big chunk of the book that I read because I was kind of busy and honestly just the reading was going really well, so I was just flying through. And yesterday I didn't even read anything and I couldn't update because I wasn't at home. But I will update you on this chunk that I read, and that actually kind of puts me in like half the book. So, yay! I'm really sorry. Oh, okay. I completely forgot that Magnus shows up for like a tiny moment when Julian and Emma go to Malcolm. I was very excited when I read the name Magnus Bane and when he started interacting with Julian and Emma, because in case you didn't know, which I don't think you do, I haven't mentioned it yet, Magnus and Alec are my favorite couple in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and maybe of all time. Maybe, though. They would be joined by Melina from Shadow and Bone, but I really love Malik. One scene that really, like, left an impact on me was when Livy and Ty are getting Mark's stuff from that box that Julian's kept it in, and they go back to his room, and Ty picks up this, like, quill or something, and he goes to put it over Mark as Mark's, like, sleeping on the bed, and then Mark wakes up. He's so lost. He thinks everything's a dream and an illusion, and he attacks Ty, and he kind of tackles him to the ground. I don't know, sits on him, Ty can't get up, and Livy, firstly, like, she screams, and then she runs out the room, and then she comes back in with her Seraph blade, and then she threatens Mark, and she says, let him go. If you hurt Tiberius, I'll kill you. I don't care if you're Mark, I'll kill you. And I'm getting chills again, because, oh my god, I love her so much, and you can just see how close she is with her twin. That, like, oh, yes, Mark, you might be my brother, but you hurt my twin, and I will kill you. Like, oh my god. Dang, Livy, okay, pop off. It was really sad remembering that Mark, while he was in the Wild Hunt, like, repeated all of his family's names in the stars, and I got very sad when the flashback to the Wild Hunt came around, which is actually the last thing that I read, when he's thinking about Kieran and how he helped Mark, and he allowed Mark to, like, tell him, I'm a Shadowhunter, I'm a Shadowhunter, I'm a Shadowhunter, because they wouldn't let him say it otherwise. And it says that, like, the first night that they slept together, not, like, sexually, just, like, actually sleeping together, Mark actually forgot to say the names of his family in the stars, and I was just like, I love them. I love them. Okay, oh my god, I know I'm gonna hate Kieran at first, because that's what, like, happened at, like, when I first read the book. I hated Kieran. Could not stand him. There was such a burning hatred for this character, and suddenly, out of nowhere, I started loving him, and he's one of my favorite characters from these books now. I don't know how Cassandra Clare does this, but she's so good at it. I think I was just emotional from stuff that happened before, but it's the scene where Julian is showing Emma, like, the playing cards that, I'm sorry, let me just bookmark this so I don't get lost. When Emma's showing the, like, cards where he's painted his family, and it gets to Helen and Mark, and for Mark it says the prisoner under, like, the drawing, and for Helen it says the separated. And when I read it, It was so painfully written that I actually started crying. Listen, I'm a pussy, okay? I'm a wuss. I cry at everything. I'm a crybaby. But it's so, I don't know, I was just so sad because there's this big, huge family and they love each other, and then suddenly they're separated because of a stupid fucking law. It makes no fucking sense. They're punishing a whole race, like all of fairyland. They're punishing all of it for something that certain people did. I hate the clave. I don't think I have to mention this, but I hate the clave. I was scrolling through my tabs and I saw that I actually added a sticky note on one of the pages. I usually do that, like if I have something to say I don't want to write it in my book, so I write it on a sticky note and then slap it in. It's the scene where Julian's trying to convince Mark to put runes on him, and Mark is going, I don't want to. It's a reminder, and Julian asks, a reminder of what? And Mark says not to trust. Julian responds with, I'm sorry your protection rune failed you, but there are other kinds of protection. Your family protects you. We will always protect you, Mark. We won't let them make you go back. Mark smiled, the oddest, sad smile. I know, he said, my gentle little brother. I know. And I've written down, stop, I love them. I always love going back to my sticky notes because I know I was in the moment when I was writing it. And sometimes I get those feelings back and sometimes I don't. And it's literally me freaking out about something. And I'm reading it back and I'm like, why are you freaking out though? Oh my god. Okay. One scene that I completely remember from Lady Midnight before rereading it was the scene where they're doing like the clave testing and Diana's doing it in their practice room. And Ty's about to do it and he has his headphones on because Diana turns on like a little radio that has recorded like war sounds, like things clanging together and like very loud sounds, and Ty's very sensitive to that. So he puts his headphones on and he gets ready to do the test. And Arthur tells Ty, Tiberius, take off your headphones. That man makes me so angry. He's not doing any. Look, I get it, trauma, okay, but he's not doing anything to help this family out. The least he can do is not make things worse. Ty cuts his hand because he throws whatever weapon he's using at the like radio thing because it's making so much noise. And Mark is there even though he doesn't need to take the test. He like came in, he was like, okay, I want to do it. He basically like dismantles the dummy with his hand. I haven't been crying, I just yawned like for a really long time. He dismantles the dummy with his bare hands and then his hand is also cut. And he walks over to Ty and he goes, now we both have hurt hands. Finally, we're actually getting scenes with Mark and Christina, and the scene where she's cutting his hair because he wants to look more like a shadow hunter, but he doesn't want to put on any runes, is engraved in my brain because she's like, oh, let me give you a mirror, like, so you can look at yourself, and then he goes, well, for years I've had no mirror. I've learned to make do. The eyes of another can be a mirror more efficient than water. If you will look at me, I can see my reflection in yours. And she looks directly at him and she gets closer and then he's looking and he says, beautiful. And and she goes, you mean your haircut? And he goes, no. Shut up! I love them so much. See, I've written down another sticky note that says they're so cute. They are. They are. One of the really big scenes that happen in Lady Midnight is when Julian and Emma discover that body in the fountain, and then Julian gets shot at, and because the arrow's poisoned, Emma can't heal him with Anarazzi, and then they do some weird parabatai shit, and it works. That whole scene in the car was so good. I just needed to mention it. And immediately after comes one of my favorite scenes between Livy and Mark, where they arrive, like where Julian and Emma are, and they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And because Julian's shirt is bloody, Mark takes off his one t-shirt, but he's wearing another one underneath. And he gives the other one to Julian, and Livy goes, "Why are you wearing a t-shirt under your other t-shirt?" And he goes, "Well, in case the first one gets stolen." Because that makes sense to him. Like, if your first shirt is stolen, you should have another one underneath. Oh, and after that, they go and eat, and it's that scene where Mark orders strawberries, whatever, and then they go back, and Julian's, like, looking at Livy and Ty, and he's like, "You're not riding on that motorcycle again." Like, the steed that Mark borrowed from someone, and you later find out that it's Kieran's. He's like, "You're not riding on that again." And Christina's like, "Oh, it's okay, I'll ride with Mark," because she can tell that he doesn't want to ride alone. And then they arrive in front of the institute, and they're talking, and suddenly Kieran arrives, and he's like, "I want my motorcycle back." And Mark tells Christina to go back inside of the institute, and she does, and then she's like, "Why the fuck did I leave him alone?" She walks back out, and she sees Kieran and Mark kissing. That scene is so good, because she's then looking at them, and she's like, oh, this is what, and she says nothing and just walks back in. Me, I wouldn't know what to do. I would just walk back in. The chapter ends with, she had wondered when he'd looked in her eyes and said that he'd had to make do without mirrors in the wild hunt, whose eyes he'd been looking into for all those years. Now she knew. And she realizes, like, oh, Kieran's eyes, they had a thing going on. Yeah. Boned at the beach. They boned at the beach. I could not be happier. I love that scene. Hello. Yes, my hair is wet, and I desperately need to update you because it's the next day, and I read 256 pages yesterday. Not only that, I wanted to continue. That never happens, but I was like, it's 8 p.m. I've been reading for 7.5 hours straight. I think I should stop. So I stopped, and I'm gonna finish this book today because I have 117 pages left. And considering what I did yesterday, I will definitely be finishing this. They were planning on going to the lottery, and they went. And as soon as the lottery was mentioned, I was like, oh my god, this was a part of the book, but I couldn't remember for the love of me what happens at the lottery. A lot happens at the lottery. We have Emma and Julian dancing, and then Julian looks at her and he's like, "I want to paint you, but I can't paint you with one color. For your hair, I'd have to use titanium white and wheat and honey or whatever else," he said. And I was like, yes, talk to me in painting language, please. Kieran and Mark had a little moment, and I wasn't the biggest fan, not because I don't love Kieran, because I love him, but I just don't love him right now, at this point of the book. Like, oh yeah, they thought that the guy that was picked at the lottery was gonna be the one that gets killed, but he either kills, and that's like the sacrifice, or he gets killed. So they were trying to protect him, and then Emma and Christina are like following him, and then Diego shows up, and I completely forgot how that guy shows up. Look, I like Diego. My friend, God knows she's in love with Diego. I like him. Don't think that I don't. I like him. It's just that at this point of the story, I'm thinking like Emma. I'm like, this bitch shot Julian. This bitch almost killed him. That's what I'm thinking at this point. So, I know I like him. This is the same thing that's happening with Kieran. I know I like them, but at this point, not my favorite. Oh yeah, Emma and Julian went over to Johnny Rook's to ask, like, about the lottery and stuff like that, and Ty secretly comes in, and he puts a knife to Kit's throat. And I'm way too excited, because I love Ty and Kit. And I know what's gonna happen afterwards, so I'm very excited, and I love Ty, I love them. I finally got to the scene where Tabby figures out that like, the writings on the bodies are actually from a poem from, like, a Shadowhunter's children's book, and it's the one It's the story about Lady Midnight. Haha. And the little poem says, first the flame and then the flood. In the end, it's blackthorn blood. Seek thou to forget what's past. First 13 and then the last. Search not the book of angels. Red or white will lead you far astray. To regain what you've lost, find the black book at any cost. Oh, and Emma and Julian then decide to make out in front of the Institute when Diego goes to patrol. Yay! And then, you know how that chapter ends? You know how the fucking chapter ends? When Gwen and Kieran show up. And I knew exactly what was coming. I was like, I'm not ready for this. I have to witness the whipping again. I have to read about it again. And I did. I read about it. It was very painful. It was tragic, okay? It ripped my whole fucking heart out again, okay? Julian takes the whipping, and Emma feels it, and, like, she's screaming. And then they're like, stop, like, she can feel it too. She's his parabatai. And then she goes to heal him, and she does, but she also knocks him out. And then she's like, I will take the whipping. And they whip her, and then she passes out. And I just closed my book. Let me just get, okay, got it. And then, Julian shows Emma his studio, like the hidden room, and it's full of pictures of her, and I love that scene. She's kind of looking at the drawings, and before she says anything, the first thing she says after is like, you like my hair down? And he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, that's what you have to say after I show you a room full of drawings of you? She's like, yeah, you really like my hair down. And they're still talking about the paintings, and this is a very good line by Julian. And he says, why are all these paintings of you? Because I'm an artist, Emma. These pictures are in my heart, and if my heart was a canvas, every square inch of it would be painted over with you. Can I just have a romance like they have? And then they finally figure out that Malcolm is the guardian. And the chapter ends with Drew running in, and she's like, what'd you need me for? And Julian's like, what? She's like, he said you called me. Julian's like, I didn't call you. Like, where's Tavi? And she's like, no, but, like, he's looked after him multiple times. Like, this can't be happening. Like, he told me you needed me. And Julian's like, who told you? Where's Tavi? Who's with him? And she goes, Malcolm. And that's where I stopped reading yesterday. And now I will not actually continue reading. I have to go to the store to buy some things, to buy groceries, and then I will be back to read. I finished Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare last night, and today I am here to give you my final thoughts. I think you'll be happy to hear that this book is still a 5-star read from the first time that I read it, which was, I don't know, like 2 years ago, I guess. But yeah. Actually, I also started reading Chain of Gold, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about this baby right here. I really enjoyed the last segment that I read. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but they had the whole thing in the cave with Malcolm, and they saved Tavi. Thank God. No one can die. Well, I know someone dies later, because I've read the books, but Tavi can't die, okay? My heart can't take it. And I really enjoyed the scene where Mark and Kieran show up in the cave, but they're on the steed, and it gives you like a tiny, tiny glimpse of like the Wild Hunt and how they do things there and stuff. I really liked it. And then the Mortal Instruments characters show up, like Jace, Clary, Magnus, and Robert. I don't really care for Robert, so okay, he was there, like, he's the Inquisitor, so I guess he had to be there. And then we had the scene where Julian just lies his life away and somehow manages to get away with everything because he's Julian Blackthorn. And Emma and Julian are like, oh, we can do this, like, we can hide the relationship. And then Emma finds out why Parabatai can't fall in love, like why it's forbidden. And Jem tells her. And then she's like, oh, well, he's not going to stop loving me, and I'm not going to stop loving him, but I can at least try to get him to not love me. And how does she do that? She asks Mark to fake date so she can hurt Julian. In my head, it makes sense, but that doesn't mean that I'm happy about it. And also, the book ends with the iconic line where Mark says, why lie? Oh, also, Kit is a Herondale. It has been revealed. I wasn't sure if that's revealed in this book or in Lord of Shadows, but since it's revealed in this one, Lord of Shadows starts off with Kit and Jace talking because they're both Herondales, and Kit tries to steal the knives, and then they clank to the floor as he drops them. I have that like engraved in my brain, and I can't wait to read it again. If you want me to do a reading vlog for Lord of Shadows, let me know. If anyone is even gonna watch this video. But yeah. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed making this reading vlog. I'm sorry if it's not really enjoyable to watch, since I'm still really new to this. But yeah, if you liked it, like, maybe subscribe, stay tuned for more videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.